sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jar Oil Company stands tall as a trusted name in energy, keeping the Gambia moving with service stations across the country and a commitment to innovation and reliability. In Farafenni, Jar Group is reshaping our industrial landscape. The Jar Oil Cement Factory can produce up to 100,000 bags a day, reducing imports, creating jobs, and building a stronger Gambia brick by brick. And in the heart of the Central River region, Jar Farming Initiative is cultivating food security. With thousands of hectares under development and modern irrigation, Jar Farming is turning the Gambia's soil into abundance. Jar Group is more than a company. It is a vision of self-sufficiency, resilience, and progress. The Jar Group of companies, investing in industry, agriculture, and energy, building the Gambia's future today.
If the world hasn't stopped moving, your money shouldn't slow you down. With Bloombank Africa, you are always connected, wherever, whenever, in many ways than one. So whether you're sending funds to family, paying for goods and services, settling bills, or just making sure you've got some cash at hand, Bloombank puts speed, simplicity, and security in the palm of your hand. Transfer funds between your Wave or AfriMoney account and your Bloombank account anytime, anywhere, because your money should flow at the pace of your life. Visit your nearest Bloombank branch today to link your account. Bloombank Africa. We make it happen.
It's Tuesday, the 14th of April, 2026, and you're with Coffee Time with Peter Gomez. It's 8 minutes past 9 o'clock in the morning here in the Gambia, and for the next hour and a half, we are with the Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services after 7 weeks. Well, in recent weeks, questions have been raised about transparency and accountability of the government he is part of, the borough government, in the wake of the seizure of an Alcalo's stamp, moves perceived to limit the freedom of expression of especially social media users, and the broader challenges of rising costs. Minister Dr. Ismail Ceesay, well, he doesn't seem to know about rising costs. He just came back from Morocco and Libya, he tells me. Welcome back. By the way, for 2 weeks you've not been coming to this platform. What happened?
For 7 weeks you've been away from this country.
Yeah, I was on holiday. I was on leave.
I was on official mission.
You are on official
I thought you were going to boycott.
Boycott what?
I understand there is some, the media is boycotting government. You're not part of it? And when I woke up this morning, I thought you were going to call me to say, hey, we are boycotting you, so don't come to West Coast.
Oh, really? The media is boycotting government? I'm not aware.
That's what I heard.
Or is the media boycotting the, everything to do with your regulations?
No, they said, I understand they said they are going to boycott all government activities.
Oh, really?
But I have a message for those who are planning such a boycott.
You want that message? You want to start with that message or update?
I'll start with that message, and I'll go to updates.
Go ahead.
That boycotts are not the solution. In a democracy, conciliation and dialogue is one that breeds solutions.
Absolutely.
If there's an issue, we discuss it. You see, politics is defined in the political science textbook as the most interesting thing. They say because it is interesting, because people disagree on who should govern them, how should they be governed, how should resources be distributed, who should get what, when, and how. All these are disagreements. That is why there's a government. Now, if there's an issue and there's a disagreement on how this thing should be carried out, it's important we sit and discuss and dialogue. But if you want to choose to boycott a government, then you can go and boycott the government. If government boycotts you, you feel the pinch.
Yeah, but they haven't boycotted any event yet, have
No,
they?
but I understand they want to boycott all our events. The Ministry of Information's events. If you boycott the ministry, you boycott government. And if you boycott government boycotts you. If government boycotts you, who feels the pinch?
Oh.
Government boycotts you, government's partners boycott you. So I would tell the GPU and their allies to come and dialogue and let's discuss and solve this issue. Boycott is not the solution. We can, if they take the boycott highway, we take the boycott highway.
Oh, who told you there was a boycott?
I received intel this morning that they are planning to boycott Ministry of Information's events and our press conferences. Well, I'm telling them that if they boycott Ministry of Information, effectively they boycott government. You boycott government, government boycotts you.
What is government doing for the GPU?
No, what I'm saying is that the GPU is under the media houses. Media houses boycott government, we'll see who feels the pinch. Media houses survive on government. That's the fact.
Media houses survive on
Most
government?
Most of them, yeah.
Media houses survive?
Of course.
We don't survive on government.
You get adverts. You don't get adverts from government.
Advert? What advice do I have from government?
No, what I'm saying is that media houses, do they get adverts from government?
Apart from GRA.
Yes.
I say this all the
It's
time.
GRA, not government.
But GRA is government.
Exactly.
If GRA stopped its advert today, we will continue.
No, what I'm saying is that
we will continue.
What I'm saying,
so
West Coast Radio,
yes,
is only one station, but also government partners gives you adverts. Most of the private sector that gives you advert are government partners. I mean, no.
I can name.
Let's not channel this and focus only on West Coast Radio. Let's look at it from a broader perspective that boycotts are not the solution. The GPU.
I agree.
The GPU had gone a very difficult period in this country when their rights were violated and abused, but there was no boycott. We cannot come to a democracy now, and we are trying to solve a problem. And you see it differently. Let's sit and dialogue. That is why yesterday we called them for a validation and consultation as part of the promotion of this particular legislation.
Did they come?
They never came. They boycotted it. We wrote to them before. Come to my office. Let's discuss. They say they are not coming. They are going to boycott my office. We said, okay, as part of the regulation life cycle.
They are angry because you sat here and said that they were part of the consultations all along, and they were saying that they were not consulted.
You see, Peter, there are two different documents. You see, that's why people have to understand the misconception there. The first document, which has to talk about the journalist accreditation for press card, that is not a regulation. That is the ministry's initiative to say, we want journalists to have a press card. So when they go to an event, they are easily recognized.
No, but GPU has that already.
No, I'm coming. But they did not tell us that. I'm coming. You see, when we called them and said, they should have told us we have it. How can we enhance? But that never came to our attention. What was brought in from them and the broadcasters was a draft to say voluntary, mandatory accreditation. I said no. Like I said, Sam Sarr is alive. Papsian is alive. I wouldn't lie. They were at that meeting in my conference room. I said I want it to be voluntary framework or guideline and not policy. We give them back to GPU, to the JUF to say, go and refine it and bring it back. Was the last I heard from them. Then there's another document. That one they were not consulted because that is not part of the development of regulation. How it is formed in regulation. The minister identifies a gap in the sector and discusses this with the regulator. In this case, it is PURA. Want to close this gap, come up with a regulation. They develop it. Then when they develop it, the regulation cannot go to the next stage without public validation or consultation. We are at that stage now. So you cannot preemptively do things the other way around. The only opportunity they had, the window, was to come to the validation window, which is this week, to say, we present to you. In fact, I broke with tradition. When I got the first draft from PURA, I told my peers, before this goes for external validation, I want to discuss it first with my key stakeholders, Media Council and GPU. Invite them first to discuss this. So they have their views before we go for the next stage of the validation. They said they wrote to me, I have those letters, that they are not coming to my meeting to discuss that. They have a position paper already. Fine, no problem. But when there is a part of the process of promoting, of developing a regulation, there's a period called validation and public consultation so that all the stakeholders can come and say, we don't agree with this. We agree with this, remove this, and you agree on something. Because if that is not done, the validation, the document cannot go to the next stage. It will die there. They made the job easy yesterday. They boycotted. It was validated by those who were there. It means cannot go to the next
Who
day.
was there? Who was there?
Some civil society were, some medias were there. I don't have the list of, but people came.
Media houses were
Of
there.
course, they came and they was validated. So what I'm trying to tell you is that boycott is not the solution. It's immature to boycott such important national events. Come, you might disagree, but just come to the table and sit.
So what gap did you,
We'll come to that, because now we'll come to that particular issue whereby I want to go through the regulation and summarize it for the public so they understand exactly what we are trying to do. Now, we might see things differently as a government, and that is why they have the public stakeholders consultation. So you come and say, government, we know you have good intentions, but here can cause a problem. Once you justify it, we'll understand and we'll remove that part, or we'll tweak it, or we'll amend it, or whatever. If you don't come to the validation, how will your voice be heard? It's not possible. So for me, I think my advice to the GPU is let them be mature and engage and stop this boycott and hashtag things. It doesn't work. It will not work. Nothing can stop us from going through with this regulation.
Nothing.
We will tweak it. We'll amend it to make it better. We're not saying it's a perfect document because it's just a zero draft. We'll consult, we'll engage stakeholders to make it better, to make it promote our democracy, to make it modernize our media ecosystem, to make it protect and promote and support the public interest. But we're not backing down on this. It's not possible. And nobody can do any campaign to back. So I would advise them to come back to the drawing board. Let's sit and discuss and find a solution to this.
All right. Since you'll be coming, integrated, is that where you're starting, or you have?
Now starting with updates.
You start with updates. Okay.
Today I think you'll give me more time.
Yeah. You had me say for the next hour and a half.
Yes,
so
hour is not enough.
You have minimum 90 minutes.
Now the update, first one is from the office of the president. That the president, His Excellency, held a cordial conversation, telephone conversation, with His Excellency Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, the president of the Arab Republic of Egypt. Now the two leaders affirmed the strong bonds of friendship, of cooperation between the Gambia and Egypt, and explored avenues on how to further strengthen these bilateral ties across key sector areas, for example, trade, investment, education, and then capacity development. Now the discussions also included exchanges of views on developments in the Middle East. As we know, the president is the current chair of the OIC. That is why he's been doing quiet diplomacy in trying to find a solution to the problem. And both leaders underscored the importance of dialogue, and I repeat, dialogue, diplomacy, and peaceful resolution of conflicts. And this is the cornerstone of international stability. His Excellency also advanced government's agricultural transformation in the past weeks by distributing modern farming machinery in the Central River region. This strategic intervention is designed to enhance productivity, improve mechanized farming systems, strengthen food security, and support sustainable rural livelihoods. Now, in the area of national security, the president also gave a lot of support recently, last week, by presenting operational vehicles to the Drug Law Enforcement Agency, reaffirming government's commitment to strengthening institutional capacity to combat drug trafficking and related transnational crimes while safeguarding public safety and national stability. Now, the same office of the president, in a press release, announced the temporary suspension of all non-statutory official travel across government. The directive reflects the prevailing global economic uncertainties and underscores government's commitment to prudent fiscal management, rationalization of public expenditure, and prioritization of essential national obligations. Obviously, this has been trending quite a while, in line with, as a response to vulnerabilities that most countries might face in light of the current war. Now, when we move to the office of the Vice President had some engagements, very important engagements, including cultural heritage custodians, also representatives of organizations of advocating for persons with disabilities and social inclusion. These engagements reaffirm the government's commitment to inclusive governance and equitable national development. In the same vein, His Excellency, the Vice President, Mohamed B.S. Jallow, is also representing the Gambia in the 59th session of the United Nations Commission on Population and Development, which is taking place from the 13th to the 17th of April this year, where he will deliver the country's keynote address. I know some will say, well, that's a travel ban, but this is statutory. It's non-statutory. It's the UN, so it's statutory. The travel ban, I think I need to expand a bit there because some people don't really understand it. If it's statutory, there is no ban on that. Like our obligations on for international organizations, like the UN and so on and so, WTO and so on and so. These are statutory. AU, ECOWAS, and these are statutory. But also when the travel is sponsored by the invitee, let's say for example the government of Qatar invites public officials to go to a meeting in Qatar, for example, and the cost of logistics, everything is borne by that government, then that is not part of the travel ban. But where public finances will be used, that is where the travel ban refers to. Now, we also have something from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, MOFA, issuing a press release advising Gambian nationals residing in the Middle East to exercise heightened vigilance in view of the prevailing security situation and where necessary to consider voluntary relocation. The advisory for the reiterated...
Voluntary relocation, not repatriation.
Okay. The advisory for the reiterated the importance of diaspora registration with Gambian diplomatic missions to enhance consular protection, emergency response, and service delivery. What that means is that when you're living in Japan, make sure you register with if there's an embassy there or a consulate, register so we know you are there.
And if there isn't one?
You register with the next available, or there should be a consulate or a honorary consul there. But if there's representation, register with that representation or.
But that's what I'm saying. Where you don't have any honorary.
The embassy responsible for that particular country.
Yeah, but if it's not there, you cannot go to the Senegalese embassy, for instance.
We don't know that yet. In diplomacy, obviously, when that kicks in, where for example, the embassy is closed. Let's say for the two countries have an issue. And then one of the countries, they close their embassies, for example, in that place. Now, protocol, in line with the Vienna Convention, allows for another embassy to oversee your premises. But in this case, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know, but I also think so.
I thought we had a standing arrangement that wherever the Gambia does not have consular, diplomatic representation or whatever, and the Senegalese do, you could just go.
It makes sense. It's highly likely and possible. If that is the case, it's good. I'm glad you raised that up. I'm not aware of that, but if that is the case, yes, I think that should be the case. So you are my master in diplomacy.
I'm just asking.
All right. Now, but also the Gambia strengthened its cooperation with the International Organization for Migration, IOM, reaffirming its commitment to safe, orderly, and dignified migration management, as well as enhanced diaspora engagement and reintegration support. Now, through a press release, the government also has facilitated the voluntary return of Gambian nationals from the Islamic Republic of Iran, ensuring coordinated support for the reception and reintegration of these people.
Gambians were in Iran?
Yes.
I never knew Gambians were in Iran. I thought we have more Gambians in Lebanon.
We have some.
I think voluntary repatriation is required for Lebanon.
Yep. The ministry also issued a press release update on the regularization of process for Gambians in Spain, introducing streamlined procedures for document authentication and submission to facilitate timely processing. We know that the Spanish authorities are about to regularize 500,000 Africans, and with Gambians living there, for them to benefit from this, they are getting support from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Now, a high-level delegation also concluded a strategic working visit to the People's Republic of China, marking 10 years of renewed diplomatic relations and reinforcing cooperation in infrastructure, energy, and human capital development. The delegation was led by the Chief of Staff, Loom. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs also announced through a press release the appointment of Mr. Bakari Dena Sonko as Africa Youth Ambassador for Peace for West Africa, reflecting the Gambia's continued contribution to regional peace building and youth leadership initiatives. Now, from the Ministry of Justice, obviously, they announced the appointment of the Special Prosecutor, Mr. Martin Hackett, who will be responsible for leading prosecutorial efforts, strengthening accountability mechanisms, and advancing the effective administration of justice in line with national and international legal standards.
Some Gambians don't like the fact that he is not Gambian.
Well, people have their opinions. When it comes to justice, there are no boundaries. Now, and is the double standard there? When Gambians benefit from non-Gambians, it's okay. Whenever it's the other way around, we say it has to be non-Gambian.
In other words, we clamor for our own, to be appointed to high
but
positions
if
internationally, but when we have positions that go to other nationals, we
Mr. Ezafal was he not working? I think was a prosecutor. I think at the ICC. He's a Gambian. What's her name again? The current High Commissioner. So if there is a job opening, where if you limit the scope, you might not get the best. You expand it internationally. Gambians were not prevented from applying for this job.
Was it advertised locally?
It was advertised internationally, but it doesn't prevent Gambians from applying for the job. We are looking for the best because we want because this is a serious case. You cannot just say we want a Gambian and just bring any Gambian to do it just because they're Gambian. We want people who are competent to do the job. Nobody stopped any Gambian from applying for this job. It was open. People applied. There are Gambians who benefited from such in other countries as well.
A lot of people just feel that, well, there's an element of trust issue here, that the government might not trust Gambians to do it.
No. I mean, we are looking for someone who's competent who can do the job. There was a TOR, there was everything. Gambians were free to apply. He was the best amongst those who applied. And in justice, there are no boundaries. We are looking for the best in terms of competence. Now, the Minister of Transport, through a press release, introduced fuel price stabilization measures aimed at mitigating the impact of rising global fuel costs. The intervention ensures continued affordability for consumers while maintaining supply stability and supporting economic resilience. We all know that with the current war in Iran, fuel prices...
That's very vague. I thought the biggest news from the Ministry of Transport was that it had approved, increases.
They've done that. No, they've done. I think they've added $2 or $3.
That was not what you just read.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that they introduced a fuel price stabilization measures. It wasn't part of the updates here. I don't know why they left it out. But the exact fees were announced. And we'll refer people to that press release where it says, I think it ranges from $3 to $5, I think, depending on
10
where.
10 to 15.
No,
yes.
No. In terms of additional, $10 to $15?
Yeah.
No, not what I read. I think it's $5 is for some areas and $3 is for some areas. Not $15.
Not $15?
No. That I can guarantee you.
Okay.
Yeah. I hope someone is listening to send me the updates.
They should send you that.
And then we will clarify that as we move along.
Unless maybe what I saw was a fake social media.
No, I think it's from 10.
Fake social media
but
post.
I think where it was $10 now it's $15. Maybe that is what you saw. But we will. I'll have to confirm that one and see. But I don't think they've increased by $10 to $15.
Okay.
What that means is that if you are paying $5 is between Westfield and Tabokota, it means now you are paying $20. That's a huge leap. I don't think that is the case. But we'll have to confirm that before I leave this place. Now, the Ministry of Gender advanced its agenda on women's economic empowerment to the validation of the Gambia Women Financial Service digital platform. The initiative is designed to strengthen financial inclusion, improve service delivery efficiency, and enhance transparency in support mechanisms for women across the country. This is innovative.
Not NPP supporting women.
No, this is the Ministry of Gender. Ministry of Gender. Ministry of Defense. The Minister of Defense,
Babukar
Usmaila Juf, my namesake, even though I'm Ismaila, he's Usmaila.
His dad was Usmaila.
That is, he got his name's dad.
Yeah.
His dad's name.
Yeah.
He conducted a series of oversight visits to military installations and deployments across the country. The visits focused on operational readiness of our men and women in uniform, personal welfare, which is critical, and infrastructure assessment, which is also very critical, reaffirming the government's commitment to a professional, responsive, and well-equipped and highly motivated armed forces. Now, we are almost done. The Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education inaugurated at the University of Gambia to support a baby facility. Baby care facility is what they inaugurated to support student parents and enhance inclusive access to higher education, ensuring a more enabling academic environment. I know why this is important. That is why I insisted it be on our updates, because when I was at UTG, some cases we have some young mothers who will come to class with their young babies, and it was a kind of distraction for them sometimes. I think having a baby care facility at UTG for such people really will be very, very, very helpful. Now, the Ministry of Health expanded access to emergency healthcare services to the deployment of ambulances nationwide and reinforce nutrition interventions targeting vulnerable groups, particularly women and children, in collaboration with development partners. And finally, the Office of the First Lady of the Republic of the Gambia hosted the SWED Plus First Ladies Forum in Banjul, convening regional First Ladies and development partners to strengthen coordinated efforts aimed at eliminating gender-based violence and advancing the protection, empowerment, and the dignity of all women and girls globally.
How much can they really do, the First Ladies?
It depends on each jurisdiction. Each jurisdiction's laws will define the scope of the intervention of the First Ladies. In the Gambia, I understand that in the Constitution, there is no mention of the specific role of the First Lady. But the First Lady in Gambia is passionate about promoting the welfare of women and girls, promoting education, promoting healthcare. Therefore, she established a foundation where she now sources funds from partners and supports education for girls.
Partners, not from government?
No. Education for girls.
FAB does not get government funding?
No.
Okay.
Nothing. Support for girls, education, support for women, building hospitals and expanding hospitals and supporting women. They're doing a lot. So each jurisdiction, it depends on what they are. Some countries, the role of the First Lady is clearly defined in their constitution. In the Gambia, that is not the case. Now, finally, this is my own ministry, my own event, and you are highly invited. The African Union of Broadcasting, they are having their General Assembly in Banjul this week. It's a major continental media event bringing together Africa's top broadcasting stakeholders. Now, this is the 17th AUB, African Union of Broadcasting, General Assembly, held from 14 to 17 in the Gambia. It marks the 20th anniversary. It starts
today?
Yes.
Oh.
I'll be going there. I'm organizing because I insisted to them that we cannot have the General Assembly without also benefiting as a country somehow. So I convinced them to organize a training for our journalists, at least 60 journalists in the Gambia, on AI. That is AI and the media, using AI in the media.
And that training starts today?
It starts today, so I need to go and do the opening.
Well, we have not been invited to this.
Well, what we did was that we invited to the GPU. So we gave GPU a slot.
Doctor comes to my show every week, but when he has good stuff,
but what I can do, if we invite West Coast alone and not the other radio station, they will say, well, you are biased. So what we did, we gave the slot.
The 60 that you have, they were all selected by the GPU?
No. What we divided it, we gave some a slot to GRTS journalists.
Of course.
We give to our information officers. Our information officers at DOIS. We gave some to the Broadcasting Association. We gave some to the GPU. And then the other slot, I don't know. But we give GPU a slot, so that's how it is distributed.
It's all right. I'm hearing this for the first time.
So we are doing a training on that, on AI. I'll tell you exactly what they're doing. But again, heads of governments and national broadcasters will come. Some ministers will come, like government officials, media experts, academics, and content creators from across the continent are gracing this very important event. Now, the Assembly is essentially a very high-level policy and industry forum on the future of African media. And the key is to be discussed digital transformation of broadcasting, the high cost of sports broadcasting rights, sustainable funding models for media, and strengthening African content and collaboration. So what we are doing is that there will be training on artificial intelligence in the media. We'll look at AI for media content generation and quality evaluation, AI for detection of fake news, deep fakes and synthetic content, hands-on workshop. There'll be AI tools for media content production and so on and so forth. So it's a very, very important General Assembly. The President, His Excellency, will do the opening ceremony on Thursday morning at the Sadala Jawara Conference Center. There'll be a cancer walk for health as well. And then there'll be, so this is the event taking place this week in Bangalore. Thank you.